After recovering from my illness, I wanted to surprise my husband without telling him. Passing by the garden, Xie Jingju was pushing the little girl on the swing, patiently coaxing her. "All right, you and I are already legally married. If anyone is the third party, it's Jiang Yin. Hurry up and put that fake marriage certificate back where it was. She's been going crazy looking for it these past few days." Standing behind them with my pregnant belly, Lin Shuoro reluctantly returned the marriage certificate to me, her eyes filled with defiance. What expression would Sister Jiang have if she knew you replaced her medicine with vitamins, causing her hearing to never recover? Xie Jingju instinctively covered her lips, glancing at me from the corner of his eye. Only when he saw no sign of suspicion on my face did he relax. I clenched my fists so tightly that I couldn't even feel the pain from my nails breaking. Xie Jingju didn't know. I could hear now. I caressed the marriage certificate, thinking of the video I had seen a few days ago. The influencer who went viral for flaunting their love confessed that their marriage certificate was fake, the embossed seal on the document was faint, and the official stamp was blurry. Comments criticizing her for being love-struck received over 10,000 likes. I also gave it a like. "Baby, why have you been staring at the marriage certificate? You're going to burn a hole through it with your gaze." Xie Jingju closed the marriage certificate, his tone carrying a hint of subtle probing. Standing there under the scorching sun, I felt waves of coldness in my heart. At the age of 7, a fire broke out in our home. My mother died saving me, and my auditory nerves were severely damaged, leaving me deaf from then on. After losing my hearing, I became insecure and overly sensitive. Xie Jingju never looked down on me. To prove his sincerity, he voluntarily gave up an arranged marriage and his inheritance rights. After graduation, while taking care of me, he started from scratch and built his own company. For 5 years, he searched everywhere for renowned doctors. Each time hope was shattered, my temper grew worse, and I even attempted suicide. Xie Jingju begged me through tears to keep living. He proposed no fewer than 100 times, and each time I refused, he forced me to get the marriage certificate, trying to tie me down with the title of Mrs. Xie. But the marriage certificate was fake. To carry on an affair right under my nose, he even replaced my medication with vitamins. I had noticed something was wrong with the medicine long ago, but I never suspected him. Seeing me burst into laughter, Xie Jingzhou's entire body tensed up. Lin Shuoro sat on the swing, her slender fingers tracing circles on the man's back through his thin shirt. Xie Jingju glanced sideways. Lin Shuoro lightly stroked the black stockings on her legs, her voice seductive and alluring. "Brother Jingju, are you coming to the secret base tonight? I've learned some new moves, guaranteed to make you feel like you're in heaven." His tense body relaxed considerably, his face flushed with desire. Lin Shuoro is a psychological counselor, 5 years younger than me, who returned from abroad 2 years ago. At that time, I was suffering from severe depression, and Xie Jingju invited her to help me work through my psychological issues. She lived here for 2 whole years. I sensed something unusual between them, but had no concrete evidence. Xie Jingju suppressed his emotions, hearing Lin Shuoro's hesitant words. "Brother Jingju, if Sister Jiang finds out, shut up. I'll stay with you tonight." A sharp pain surged in my heart. My intuition told me they were still hiding something from me. Seeing the paper clenched in my hand, Xie Jingju curled his lips into a smile. "Baby, it's Valentine's Day today. What surprise have you prepared for me?" Both Xie Jingju and I place great importance on rituals. We always prepare surprises for each other on every holiday, big or small. Yesterday morning, I woke up to the summer cicadas chirping. I could actually hear them. At the hospital checkup, the doctor said there were signs of my hearing recovering and advised me to come back for regular follow-ups. I had wanted to give Xie Jingju a surprise, but I never expected. Broken nails dug into my palm, and warm blood stained the diagnosis sheet red. I smiled bitterly. "Arju, next week is your birthday. I've prepared a double surprise for you." Tossing and turning at night, those few words kept swirling in my mind. Secret base. I've been to every corner of the villa, yet never found any traces of their affair. Suddenly, the screen of Xie Jingzhou's phone on the bedside table lit up. His hand around my waist withdrew as he got up and left the bedroom. Following behind him, I arrived at the study. The study was cleaned daily, and nothing unusual was found. Yet, after Xie Jingju entered the study, he vanished without a trace. I searched for a long time but couldn't find a place to hide. Until I caught a whiff of Yves Saint Laurent perfume in the air. It was Lin Shuoro's favorite perfume brand. The scent seemed to be coming from within the wall. I gently tapped a few times on the snow-white wall. To my surprise, the wall automatically split into two halves. It turned out that this wall was actually a hidden door. Inside was a small secret room. The further inside you go, the stronger the scent of perfume becomes. The secret room was furnished with a bed and a wardrobe. Hanging above the wardrobe were various roleplay costumes. Every weekend, Xie Jingju would sneak out like a cat on the prowl, leaving at midnight and returning at dawn. His body carrying the faint scent of hawthorn flowers. The first time I suspected Xie Jingju of cheating, I checked all the surveillance footage in the villa but found nothing unusual. Lin Shuoro even brought her boyfriend to meet me in an attempt to clear her name. Xie Jingju said I was wrong to accuse him and gave me the cold shoulder for days. After that, I never doubted them again. But now, the two of them lay naked in bed. Xie Jingju was frantically taking what he wanted from her. In front of me, he had always maintained a cold and abstinent persona, and even when he touched me, it was always rushed to a quick end. I even thought there was something wrong with his body and had the servants bring folk remedies from our hometown to brew for Xie Jingju. It turns out it wasn't that he couldn't, but that he saved all his energy for others. Beneath the man's refined appearance lies such filth and ugliness. I struggled to suppress the surging emotions and pressed the record button. All of this is evidence of Xie Jingzhou's betrayal. The two in the video were insatiable, bold, and explicit. I covered my lips, but a few sobs still escaped through my fingers. Xie Jingzhou's hearing was exceptionally sharp. Even the slightest sound couldn't escape his ears. He froze mid-action, then got up to put on his clothes. "Who's there?" Lin Shuoro's gaze also turned in my direction, and from her angle, it met my eyes directly. There wasn't a trace of surprise on her face. It seems that the strong perfume scent was deliberately used to lure me here, just so I could witness this scene. "Brother Jingju, stop being so paranoid. There's no one here." Lin Shuoro clung to Xie Jingzhou's neck like a sticky plaster, refusing to let go. Xie Jingzhou's freshly donned clothes were stripped off once more, and he was seduced back into her embrace. I couldn't bear to watch any longer. As I left the secret chamber, Lin Shuoro's sickly sweet voice followed me. "Brother Jingju, I want you to come and accompany me on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from now on, and accompany her on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Otherwise," Xie Jingzhou's face darkened, and after a long while, he spoke with a warning tone. "Okay, I promise you, but keep that matter to yourself." Lin Shuoro smiled and leaned on her shoulder, her voice rising slightly. "Don't worry, Sister Jiang will never know that the child in her belly is ours." As soon as the words fell, Xie Jingju gripped her neck and kissed her lips fiercely, as if punishing her. "Never mention this again. If Yin finds out I tampered with the test tube, she'll never forgive me." My footsteps halted, a chill creeping up my spine. Actually, I never thought about having a child for Xie Jingju. A year ago, his mother came to me. "Do you know, Jingju was willing to break ties with us for you. The pressure he faces starting his own business is immense. He drank so much he got a stomach perforation. A deal he finally secured was snatched away by the old master's people. I beg you, please help him. The Xie family has strict rules, but their lineage is thin. Mrs. Xie wanted me to conceive Xie Jingzhou's child, so she would have leverage to negotiate with the old master. I was born with a cold uterus and couldn't conceive naturally. To help Xie Jingju, I endured the pain and underwent 99 rounds of IVF before finally getting pregnant. Little did I know, the child turned out to be Xie Jingju and Lin Shuoro's. As I walked out of the secret room, my face was wet with cold tears. "Xie Jingju, it's really over between us." 2 days later, when I went for my follow-up appointment, I ran into Xie Jingju and Lin Shuoro. "Baby, what are you doing here?" He quickly pushed away the hand holding his arm and immediately explained to me. "Baby, don't misunderstand, Xiaoxue wasn't feeling well, so I brought her to see the doctor. He was so eager, with red marks all over his neck. Seeing that I didn't respond, Lin Shuoro stepped forward and patted Xie Jingzhou's shoulder. Brother Jingzhou, have you forgotten? She's just a deaf person and can't hear what you're saying. Xie Jingzhou, as if relieved, then used sign language to explain it to me again. Baby, why did you come to the hospital? Are you feeling unwell? I gently pushed his hand away, my voice cold. Today is my follow-up appointment for my ears. Baby, why didn't you tell me? Xie Jingzhou's sign language carried a hint of confusion. I did send you a message. He avoided my gaze guiltily, still making excuses, then abruptly threw his phone to the ground. It's all this damn phone's fault. It blocked your message. Baby, please forgive me, okay? We've been together for 5 years, and Jingzhou remembers my follow-up appointments better than I do. Afraid I'll miss them. This is the first time I've messaged him to inform him. Just then, the attending doctor walked over, looked at Jingzhou, and said with a fawning tone, Mr. Xie, congratulations. Your wife's hearing is perfectly normal. When did you recover your hearing, baby? Xie Jingzhou stared at me intently, his face filled with panic. I pretended not to hear. Arjo. What are you saying? Xie Jingzhou looked at the doctor, somewhat confused. Didn't you say her hearing was restored? Why can't she hear yet? I quickly grabbed Xie Jingzhou's hand. Arju, don't worry, maybe she hasn't fully recovered yet and needs more time. He was still shaken and looked at the doctor, wanting an explanation. The doctor winked at me before saying, Don't worry, Mr. Xie, at most, it'll be just a few more days before your wife can hear again, during the follow-up visit. I asked him to keep it a secret, saying it would be a birthday surprise for Xie Jingzhou. The doctor's words finally brought some color back to Xie Jingzhou's pale face. Sweetheart, since we're already here, why not get a prenatal checkup while we're at it? I agreed. He didn't know that I came to the hospital today not just for a follow-up visit. Before stepping onto the operating table, Xie Jingzhou held my hand. For some reason, he was very nervous, for a moment. He forgot to use sign language. Don't be afraid, baby, I'm here with you. He refused to go out, and Lin Shuoro whispered in his ear, Brother Jingzhou, you're about to propose to her, don't you want some premarital excitement? Her soft, boneless hand caressed Xie Jingzhou's palm, her voice seductive. Opportunity knocks but once. Xie Jingzhou's Adam's apple bobbed slightly, his eyes clouded with desire. President Xie, please sign here. He picked up the pen and swiftly signed his name without even glancing at the document's contents. The moment the signature was complete, Xie Jingzhou grabbed Lin Shuoro's hand and pulled her away. The intern nurse looked at me with pity in her eyes. This man is so heartless. He was just so affectionate a moment ago. Yet he didn't even blink when signing the abortion procedure, and even brought his mistress along. Several doctors quickly hushed her, revealing Xie Jingzhou's identity. The young nurse immediately fell silent. As the anesthesia needle was administered, my lower abdomen felt as if it had plunged into an icy abyss. The cold instrument probed inside my body, as if someone were twisting a scorching iron wire through my flesh. Consciousness grew sharper amidst the excruciating pain. I could feel the uterine lining being stripped away inch by inch, the dull ache spreading from my lower body up to my throat. Stepping off the operating table felt like surviving a brush with death. My lips bore the marks of being bitten through, time and again. On the way to the bathroom, I passed by an empty ward, from which came familiar suggestive sounds. The door wasn't locked. Through the door crack, Xie Jingzhou had Lin Shuoro pinned against the wall. They had only removed their lower garments, so desperate as to eat anything. A wave of nausea churned in my stomach. I covered my mouth, nearly vomiting. As an invisible hand seemed to grip my womb, sending waves of sharp pain. Hearing the noise, they hurriedly adjusted their clothes. Xie Jingzhou was the first to rush out the door. Baby, is that you? I hid in the bathroom. In the mirror, my eyes were bloodshot, and my lips were stained with blood. It took me a long while to calm my emotions before I finally stepped out of the bathroom. Xie Jingzhou rushed over and hugged me. Baby, why did you take so long in the bathroom? I thought something had happened to you. He was panting heavily, his face still flushed with the lingering traces of pleasure, especially that faint, elusive scent of heather. Another wave of nausea churned in my stomach. There was nothing left for me to vomit. I was so miserable that tears welled up involuntarily. Xie Jingju gently patted my shoulder. Baby, is the child bothering you again? I pushed him away. Don't come near me, I feel unwell. Lin Shuoro pulled Xie Jingju aside and casually remarked, Brother Jingju, your scent is too strong. Xie Jingzhou's face paled, and a flicker of guilt crossed his eyes. Baby, how about we leave the hospital? I'll make you delicious food to nourish your body. He carefully held my cold hand, his palm was warm, and his eyes were full of affection, which made me feel a little dazed. Brother Jingju, Sister Jiang is too weak right now. It would be better for her to stay in the hospital for a few days. The words Lin Shuoro emphasized made Xie Jingzhou's hand tremble slightly. Just as she grasped his fingers, his hand had already slipped from her palm. That warmth disappeared along with it. Lin Shuoro's bewitching voice sounded. I'll be going abroad in a few days. Brother Jingju, are you really not coming? The deep affection in the man's eyes faded completely, replaced by a hint of confusion. Xiaoxue is right, baby. You're too weak now. Stay in the hospital for a few days to recover, and I'll come pick you up when it's time to be discharged. I won't stay in the hospital. The scene on the operating table still haunts me. I just want to escape this place. Lin Shuoro grasped my hand, her voice hushed. Not a pleasant experience. Was it? The abortion, unfortunately. The child isn't mine or Jingzhou's. You think you're worthy of bearing my child. As for the father, I just grabbed a random test tube at the hospital. Blinded by rage, I pushed Lin Shuoro down. She fell to the ground, her eyes brimming with tears. Jiang Yin, apologize. Why should I apologize to her? Do you even know what she... Crash. When the slap landed, Xie Jingju was also stunned. I had to lean against the wall to steady myself as the sutured wound on my uterus tore open. Blood streaming out, he picked up Lin Shuoro, his voice icy. Jiang Yin. I'll come pick you up from the hospital once you've properly reflected on yourself. I collapsed to the ground in pain, tears streaming down my face as I tried to hold them back. Xie Jingju even sent bodyguards to keep watch over me during my hospital stay. On the day I was discharged, it was his birthday, and I didn't attend. Xie Jingju called me more than 10 times in a row, but none of the calls went through. Suppressing his anger, he edited a text message and sent it. Jiang Yin. There's a limit to being willful. I had something come up on the day you were discharged from the hospital, so I couldn't pick you up. That was my fault. Now all the guests have arrived. Hurry up and come over. Don't make a scene. When he hit send, a big red exclamation mark appeared on the chat page. He hadn't even had time to check his phone before someone called him away. The banquet began, and still, I hadn't shown up. Xie Jingju summoned his assistant. Find out where my wife is. Bring her here even if you have to tie her up. Lin Shuoro was wearing my haute couture gown, looking somewhat aggrieved. Sister Jiang probably doesn't want to see me. Maybe I should leave first to avoid causing a scene when she arrives and sees me. Xie Jingzhou's face grew even more furious. Cause a scene? All these years I've been spoiling her, and she's grown increasingly disrespectful toward me. Just wait and see how I'll teach her a lesson. The waiter approached, holding a gift box in his hand. President Xie, Madam specifically instructed that it be handed to you personally. Xie Jingzhou's expression softened slightly, filled with anticipation. He opened the gift box. Meanwhile, a video appeared on the projector behind Xie Jingju. The video's background was on the living room sofa. Xie Jingju and Lin Shuoro were kissing passionately. Xiaoxue, after today, we're over. I've bought your plane ticket abroad. Lin Shuoro turned her head away with grievance. Her voice choked with sobs. Brother Jingju, I know the one you love is Sister Jiang. I'll leave quietly. Xie Jingzhou's heart ached as he picked her up, whispering soothing words. Xiaoxue, I know you've been wronged. Haven't you always wanted to do it in the bedroom? Let me fulfill your wish, okay? Lin Shuoro's downcast eyes were filled with a triumphant gleam. The timestamp below the video was exactly the day I was discharged from the hospital. The guests erupted in an uproar. Xie Jingju dropped the gift box in his hand. President Xie, I never expected you to be this kind of person. All the deals we signed last week are now void. I'll have my assistant transfer the penalty fees to you. Don't ever contact me for collaboration again. The influential figures who had just praised Xie Jingju for his boundless potential left with faces full of disappointment. The gift box was empty, and 2 pieces of paper fell out. Xie Jingju picked them up, and his pupils constricted as he saw the contents. It was a consent form for an abortion procedure. His hands were trembling uncontrollably. Impossible. How could Yin? When he saw the content of another document, his voice abruptly cut off. That was an audiology diagnostic report. The date was the 7th, 1 week ago, when my hearing was restored. That was the same day I overheard the conversation between Xie Jingju and Lin Shuoro in the garden. Xie Jingzhou's face showed a complex mix of emotions: shock, surprise, fear, and more. He belatedly recalled the scene at the hospital that day. I refused to be hospitalized and even pushed Lin Shuoro down. He asked me to apologize but didn't use sign language. I actually communicated with him normally. At that time, his heart and eyes were completely filled with Lin Shuoro, and he didn't notice my unusual behavior. Some guests were curious about the gift box I had given and gathered around Xie Jingju to take a look. Upon seeing the contents, they were so shocked they couldn't speak. Xie Jingju snapped back to reality, feeling a heavy weight in his chest. Something even more concerning has arrived. The image on the projector shifted again, and the background reappeared in the garden. All right, you and I are already officially married. If anyone is the other woman, it's Jiang Yin. Hurry up and put that fake marriage certificate back where it belongs. She's been going crazy looking for it these past few days. Xie Jingju patiently coaxed Lin Shuoro while pushing her on the swing. Lin Shuoro reluctantly handed me back the marriage certificate, a defiant look in her eyes. What expression would Sister Jiang have if she knew you swapped her medicine for vitamins, causing her hearing to never recover? At that moment, Xie Jingju clearly saw my pale face. I clutched the hearing diagnosis report in my palm, my fingernails broken, blood staining the paper red. Xie Jingju felt as if struck by lightning, struggling to catch his breath. Why hadn't he noticed my unusual behavior back then? In the end, he was blinded by beauty. Xie Jingju wanted to call for a stop, but the projector's imagery shifted again, revealing footage from a secret room. Brother Jingju, I want you to spend time with me on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and with her on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. How about that? Xie Jingzhou's tone carried a warning. Fine, I agree. Remember to keep this matter buried deep in your heart. Don't worry. Sister Jiang will never know that the child in her belly is ours. Xie Jingzhou's throat was parched, unable to utter a single word. It was Xie's mother who stepped in and had someone turn off the projector. Oh my God. Wasn't it said that President Xie cherished his wife as his own life? How could he also have an affair? Mrs. Xie is so pitiful. Look at her expression. She must have been able to hear it all along. No wonder Mrs. Xie didn't attend today. She must be planning to run away with the baby. What? Run away with the baby? The child isn't even his, and their marriage certificate is fake. As a man, I can't help but feel sorry for Mrs. Xie. Xie Jingzhou's ears rang. As if all vitality had been drained from him, he collapsed to the ground, his gaze vacant. Just then, his assistant rushed over and helped Xie Jingju up. President Xie, we've found Madam's whereabouts. On the day she was discharged from the hospital, she was taken away by a man. 3 days later, Xie Jingju came to the postpartum care center under the Lin Group. He stood outside the door, patiently waiting for me to finish my breakfast, afraid that entering now might affect my appetite. I don't want to stay in a stalemate with him either. Indecision invites disaster. Xie Jingju, I know you're outside. Yin, I genuinely want to marry you. It was my mother who interfered. Dark circles under his eyes were so heavy that even concealer couldn't hide them. Are you going to say next that the fertilized egg between you and Lin Shuoro was also transferred into my womb by your mother? Xie Jingju trembled all over as he grasped my hand. Yin, it's not what you think. You couldn't conceive, and my mother threatened to kill herself unless you could bear a child. Otherwise, she would keep us apart. I consulted doctors. Your body couldn't conceive naturally. So I let out a cold laugh. Xie Jingju, you still don't know, do you? The child I'm carrying was never yours. Lin Shuorong tampered with the test tube. How ridiculous that even you were kept in the dark. Xie Jingju knelt on the ground, tears finally streaming down his face after a long silence. How could this happen? How dare she? Seeing that I was about to leave, Xie Jingju blocked my way. Yinyan, Lin Shuoro was the one who seduced me. She imitates you in every way, and you also know that in our circle, which man is clean, it's normal to just have some fun occasionally. I pulled my hand away from his, as if I had never known him. When Xie Jingju pursued me, he dressed like me, yet his every move exuded the aura of a rich young master, afraid I might feel inferior. He pretended to be poor for 4 years in college. At that time, I had just graduated, and my dream was to become a jewelry designer. After several job rejections, he encouraged me to start my own studio. The Xie family pressured him several times to break up with me. Xie Jingju was willing to sever ties with his family, and the Xie family froze his accounts. The poorest year, he stayed with me in a tiny rented room, sharing a single cup of instant noodles, afraid I'd worry. He drank up all the broth, his stomach couldn't handle it, and he ended up in the hospital that same day. It was his good friend Lin Yuqian who covered his medical bills. After being discharged from the hospital, Xie Jingju secretly started a business behind my back. We survived the toughest times together, but he cheated on me. It turns out some people can share hardships but not prosperity. Suddenly, the door was pushed open, and a magnetic voice sounded, "If you can't remain chaste, don't condemn all men with one sweeping statement." Lin Yuqian was holding a tiramisu, that was the dessert I had to eat after every meal, which required standing in a long queue to buy. Once, Xie Jingju would always warm the cold packaging box inside his coat with his body heat before feeding it to me. After Lin Shuoro appeared, she stole away his patience too. The tiramisu he brought back had packaging printed with gaudy cartoon patterns, and the cheap cream tasted bitter with artificial flavoring. Lin Yuqian, it's you. You're the one who persuaded Yinyan to leave me, aren't you? Caught off guard, Xie Jingju threw a punch at his face. A bruise appeared at the corner of Lin Yuqian's mouth. I stepped forward and slapped Xie Jingju hard. Xie Jingju, apologize. Xie Jingju looked at me, disbelief in his eyes. Do you really think he's naive? All these years, wherever you go, this so-called crown prince of the capital follows. Just now, when I hit him, he could have dodged but didn't. Why do you think that is? Jiang Yin, I refuse to believe you don't know. Xie Jingju and I had been together for 5 years. Even when we argued, it was usually just bickering. Never had it come to physical violence. Xie Jingju covered his face, his eyes filled with hurt as he left. I helped Lin Yuqian apply the medicine. He was sensitive to pain, his muscles tense. But he didn't even frown, not wanting me to worry. Yinyan, I deliberately took that punch. I just wanted to get closer to you. Am I too scheming? He blinked his eyes, his long eyelashes trembling, with a hint of puppy-like innocence that made me unable to scold him. Back when I decided to be with Xie Jingju, he asked me out. Yinyan, to be honest, I don't think highly of you and Xie Jingju, but since it's your choice, I'll step aside for you. If he ever wrongs you again, I'll take you away from him. Lin Yuqian's words carried an underlying meaning. Previously, Xie Jingju got drunk and had a one-night stand with a hostess. After waking up, he denied everything and even had the manager fire her. He then told me that the hostess had drugged his drink. Lin Yuqian came to me. He had someone investigate, and there were no drugs in the drink. At that time, I was probably blinded by love, unable to listen to advice. And only after hitting a wall did I see Xie Jingzhou's true colors. On the day I was discharged from the hospital, I was the one who reached out to Lin Yuqian. I needed his help to break free from Xie Jingju. Because I was using him, I felt somewhat guilty during these days of interaction. Lin Yuqian didn't dodge Xie Jingzhou's punch and intentionally got hurt, showing me his calculating side, trying to lessen my guilt in this way. Lin Yuqian, you're wonderful, but once bitten, twice shy. I've become somewhat disillusioned with love now. That handsome face suddenly loomed large in my vision, his eyes brimming with an intensity of joy, really disillusioned. The fervor in his gaze made my cheeks burn crimson. Why didn't I notice before? He's even better looking than Xie Jingju. When Xie Jingju returned to the villa, he saw a familiar figure sitting there painting. Tears welled up in his eyes, and he embraced the woman in front of him. Baby, Are you back? I knew you wouldn't be so cruel as to abandon me." The last word abruptly stopped when he saw the face of the person who had arrived. Lin Shuoro wasn't wearing makeup and was dressed in the clothes I usually paint in, sitting in front of the easel. Xie Jingju then realized that the slight resemblance in her expression to mine was merely the effect of makeup. Even her painting style was completely different from mine. "Haven't you gone abroad?" Xie Jingju pushed her away. "Brother Jingju, I can't bear to part with you. I can be Jiangyan's substitute, I don't mind." She wore a low-cut dress, her snow-white collarbone adorned with an alluring Dachra tattoo, leaning closer to the man's lips. In the past, Xie Jingju would have fallen for this act, but now, seeing her only filled him with disgust and loathing. She was the one who swapped the test tube, making me pregnant with someone else's child. He would make her pay for this. "So eager to be a substitute, are you?" Xie Jingju wiped the makeup off her face, his tone unreadable. That same day, Lin Shuoro was taken to an underground private clinic, where a doctor performed plastic surgery on her using my photo as a reference. The thought of being able to stand openly by Xie Jingzhou's side in the future, she endured the excruciating pain of the knife slicing across her face. 2 months later, Lin Shuoro had plastic surgery to create a face identical to mine. Xie Jingju, aware of his guilt toward me, didn't dare to appear before me and could only watch from the shadows. That day, as I was returning from the studio, someone covered my head halfway. When the cloth was removed from my face, I found myself in an abandoned factory, lying on the bed, limbs weak, a white sheet covering everything below the neck. Several doctors wearing masks held scalpels in their hands. A ferocious face leaned close to me. "Lin Shuoro, what are you trying to do?" Xie Jingju arrived just in time to witness this scene. "What do you think I want to do?" She extended her hand toward me, her wrist covered in scars of varying depths. "Jiangyan, do you know how I've been these past few months?" I glanced at Xie Jingju, who also wore a puzzled expression. "I did it to myself. Haha." Lin Shuoro looked at Xie Jingju with a desolate smile. "You made me get plastic surgery to look like her. I was ready to be her substitute, but you drugged me, brought in a beggar to get me pregnant, then sent me to prison, locked me up with those inmates, and let them humiliate me. To escape, I had to self-harm and pretend to be mentally ill, only for them to send me to an asylum. I barely managed to break free. Jiangyan, all of this is your fault. You're the root of it all. Of course, I won't kill you. He cares about your face, so he had mine altered to look like yours. Now, I'll have your face altered to look like mine." Lin Shuoro held a scalpel, her eyes filled with madness. Xie Jingju, afraid of provoking her, pleaded desperately to appease her. "Lin Shuoro, as long as you let Yinyan go, I'll do anything you ask." Lin Shue's hand paused in its movement. "Then if I ask you to marry me, would you agree to that too?" Xie Jingju hesitated. Lin Shuoro made a cut on my vein. Blood gushed out. "All right, I agree, just don't hurt her." Lin Shuoro smiled eerily. "I've changed my mind." Xie Jingju, stab yourself, keep stabbing until I'm satisfied, and I'll let her go. Lin Shuoro fixed her gaze on Xie Jingju and threw a scalpel at him. He picked it up without hesitation and stabbed it into his own chest. After stabbing himself 3 times in succession, he collapsed weakly to his knees. At that moment, Lin Yuqian arrived with his men, who restrained Lin Shuoro and the other doctors. He lifted the white cloth, ready to take me away. Only then did he realize I was strapped with a timed bomb. Countdown, 30 seconds. His forehead broke into a cold sweat. Something unheard of for someone always so composed. He held the pliers, unsure where to begin. "Lin Yuqian, cut it. Even if you make a mistake, I won't blame you." I looked into those dark eyes, trying to give him some hope. At the last minute, Lin Yuqian cut the red wire. The bomb didn't go off. I passed out from excessive blood loss. Lin Yuqian carried me to the hospital. "Yinyan, don't fall asleep. Hold on. After the doctor's examination, the patient has lost too much blood and urgently needs a transfusion. It's too late to get it from the blood bank." "Who here has type O blood?" Xie Jingju, his wound just bandaged, spoke weakly. "Take my blood, I'm type O." He had just stabbed 3 times, his lips deathly pale. Afraid I would refuse, he desperately tried to persuade me. "Yinyan, Please accept it. I just want to save you. Okay. Stubborn as I was, I agreed without hesitation. At the brink of life and death, I chose to live. When I woke up, Xie was by my bedside. Yin, you're awake. How do you feel? Are you uncomfortable anywhere? He hugged me tightly, so tight that I could barely breathe. Yin, considering I donated blood for you, could you give me a chance to make it up to you? His eyes were bloodshot, devoid of the usual vigor and confidence. I pushed him away, my gaze filled with indifference. Xie, you did save me. But don't forget Lin Shuoro kidnapped me because of you. You're the real culprit. Go away. I never want to see you again. Xie picked up the fruit knife on the table and half knelt on the ground. Yin, I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong. It's my fault for not being able to control my desires. It's all my fault. What can I do to make you forgive me? Mentioning the child, an inexplicable rage rose in his chest. The scenes of betrayal flashed vividly before my eyes once more, as the fruit knife in his hand plunged toward his own chest. I heard my own icy voice. If you can't control your lower half, what's the point of keeping it? His movements froze, and he looked at me with a complicated expression. As if he couldn't believe I would say such a thing. The door was pushed open at that moment, and Lin Yuqian wheeled in a wheelchair. Yin, the sunlight outside is just right. Let me take you for a walk. My arms and legs still work fine. I don't need a wheelchair. Suddenly feeling weightless, he lifted me and placed me onto the wheelchair. You're not fully recovered yet. Stay in the hospital for a few more days for observation. Once we're sure everything's fine, I'll take you home. A warm feeling flowed through my heart. Lin Yuqian was about to push me away when the sound of a sharp object cutting through skin echoed behind us. Yin, can you forgive me now? Xie curled up in pain on the ground, his lower body covered in blood. He took out the divorce certificate, his expression full of tenderness. Yin, I've already divorced her. From now on, you'll be my wife. Will you come with me to register our marriage? He tried to crawl toward me. I remained calm, maneuvering my wheelchair to avoid his touch. Why, Yin, I've done everything you asked. Why won't you forgive me? Lin Yuqian pushed me out, leaving behind one last remark before we departed. Castrating yourself proved your determination. But Yin has every right not to forgive you, after being discharged from the hospital. I returned to my hometown to manage the jewelry store my mother left behind. As soon as the new designs were launched, various influencers vied to promote them. In just 1 week, the products sold out. I knew that Lin Yuqian was behind all of this, pushing things forward, of course. The jewelry I design is no less impressive. On Mom's death anniversary, I brought my father, who has Alzheimer's, out from the nursing home. While offering incense, he briefly regained clarity. Yin, how's the jewelry store doing? It was your mother's most treasured possession. Dad, just leave it to me with peace of mind. During the time back in my hometown, a figure lingered near my house, but I pretended not to see it. It wasn't until my best friend in the capital told me that the Xie family had gone bankrupt. I didn't even need to think to know that this was also Lin Yuqian's doing. Before returning to his hometown, he accompanied me to the airport. Yin, are you really not considering giving me a chance to prove myself? Lin Yuqian tugged at the hem of my clothes, like a child begging for candy. His recent pursuit tactics have been nothing short of varied and creative. To avoid him, I holed up in the studio for meals and drinks, until my uncle called me. Yin, I'm getting old. I can't manage the jewelry store your mother left behind anymore. Come back. I finally found an excuse to escape, at the security checkpoint. Lin Yuqian's puppy dog eyes looked pitifully adorable. In that moment, my heart softened, and I followed my feelings to make a decision. I'll see how you behave. Lin Yuqian froze in stunned silence. He had fully prepared himself for another rejection from me, never expecting that I'd actually agree. After realizing it, he jumped up excitedly right where he stood. In the evening, the phone number marked as the attention seeker called. Yin, are you satisfied with my performance this time? I knew he was referring to the bankruptcy of the Xie family, but I pretended to be completely clueless. What performance? Lin Yuqian was anxious. Yin, are you on 2G network speed in your hometown? Can't you see the latest news? I covered my mouth and chuckled. Your performance this time was a bit over the top, but still acceptable. The next day, Lin Yuqian arrived at the house loaded with bags. I was completely baffled. Last night you said I was over the top. So I had to come down personally to prove myself. He walked in familiarly, changing his shoes. The figure that had mustered the courage to appear outside the door finally disappeared. Story 2, after my husband's assistant and I wore the same red dress, I filed for divorce directly, just because of a dress. You want to divorce me? Lu Chuan's gaze finally fell upon me, his eyes filled with disdain. Is it really necessary? I bit my lip. It is. Lu Chuan, however, seemed not to hear and stood up. I've already had 100 dresses sent over. Making a scene any further would be pointless. I froze. Apparently, I had already become meaningless to him. Qin Mu, know your limits. At that moment, the sound of the door unlocking suddenly rang out. Bai Lulu entered by inputting the password herself without even knocking on the door. Not long after our marriage, Lu Chuan moved us to this apartment, saying he disliked being disturbed. He said that since he had married me, I was the only lady of the Lu family, and no other woman would ever appear in this home. But now, Bai Lulu is standing right here. Mr. Lu, I'm sorry to disturb you and Sister Miu Miu. I just came to return this dress. It's too expensive. Before she could finish speaking, Lu Chuan interrupted. No need. What's given to you is yours. Lu Chuan's gaze shifted, glanced at me, then praised Bai Lulu. It suits you well. In the past, hearing him compliment another woman like this would have made me throw a fit. But now, Lu Chuan's behavior just leaves me feeling indifferent. Since I've already decided to leave, I no longer want to play along with their lovey-dovey act. I turned around and wanted to leave for my room. But Bai Lulu wasn't about to let me go. She blocked my way and shoved the dress into my hands. Sister Miu Miu, don't misunderstand. I didn't know you were supposed to wear formal attire for your anniversary event this morning. President Lu was just worried I'd embarrass the company. So he gave me a dress. He doesn't know how to choose. He just thought it looked good on you. So he picked the same one. Please don't let this cause an argument between you two. She spoke words of mediation, but the look she gave me was full of smugness. I couldn't hold back and threw the dress in my hand onto the ground. I have OCD. I'm allergic to second-hand things. Upon hearing my words, Bai Lulu's eyes instantly turned red, as if she had suffered immense grievance. Sister Miu Miu, I washed it carefully with my hands. It's not dirty. Such an expensive dress. You can't just throw it away like that. Don't you know how hard President Lu works at the company? After saying that, she knelt on the ground and picked up the dress to hand it to me again. Qin Mu, Lu Chuan quickly helped Bai Lulu up, his eyes dark as he snatched the dress and threw it at me. She came all this way to return the dress, and this is how you treat a guest. Don't forget, without me, you'd be worse off than her. Bai Lulu hung her head, clutching Lu Chuan's sleeve, her voice choked with sobs. Mr. Lu, it was my oversight. I thought washing it would be enough. I'm sorry, Sister Miu Miu. I'll take the dress back. But the doctor said I've donated blood too many times this month. Mr. Lu, could I repay you for the dress next month instead? As she spoke, she rolled up her sleeve, revealing an arm covered in bruises. Lu Chuan held her tightly in his arms, his gaze gradually turning cold. Enough. Qin Mu, why are you bullying a young girl? Do you, who only knows how to spend money, have any idea how hard others have to struggle to live? Chapter 2. Hearing Lu Chuan's words, I almost laughed in anger. I merely refused to wear a second-hand dress, and suddenly I became the villain. A spoiled woman who knows nothing of hardship and bullies others with her privilege. I couldn't help but gaze at Lu Chuan's face, the one I've loved for over a decade. Do you understand now, Lu Chuan? This is the real reason. In just 3 short months, the countless exceptions he made for Bai Lulu had already numbed my heart. If I didn't leave now, I truly didn't know what I would become. With that, I turned to leave, seeing I was serious. Lu Chuan signaled for Bai Lulu to leave and forcefully grabbed my wrist. Enough, Qin Mu, what exactly do you want? I gave up an overseas project to come back and celebrate our anniversary with you, and this is the attitude you give me. I hardly recognize you anymore. You used to be so generous and kind. But now you're targeting a young girl at every turn, And to think she even offered to transfer to a branch office to ease the tension between us. What exactly do you want me to do to make you stop this madness? Lu Chuan's grip on her hand was painfully tight, but no physical pain could compare to the anguish in her heart. Let go. I forcefully shook off Lu Chuan's grip and could no longer hold back, slapping him hard across the face. Lu Chuan, I hardly recognize you anymore. We've been married for 5 years. Yet now he feels utterly unfamiliar to me. I clenched my teeth to hold back the tears. Finally unleashing the anger that had been building up for so long. On the first day Bai Lulu appeared, you abandoned me on the road just because she said she had a stomachache. On the second day Bai Lulu appeared, you bought her a seafood kanji, even though you know I'm allergic to seafood. Today marks the 99th day since Bai Lulu appeared, and you've given her the password to our bedroom door, and you still dare to claim she's just an assistant. Lu Chuan, I've given you 99 chances. And we're done. In the end, I couldn't hold back anymore, tears streaming down my face uncontrollably. Seeing my breakdown, Lu Chuan finally showed a guilty look in his eyes. Flustered, he wiped my tears with his hand and instinctively tried to explain. I had no idea all this would cause your misunderstanding. You have to believe me, Bai Lulu and I are truly innocent. I just feel sorry for her, that's all. As he finished speaking, the expression on his face gradually calmed down, turning into disappointment. How I treat you, don't you know, it really hurts me that you doubt me like this. Qin Mu, don't make me regret marrying you. I thought I had already let go when the words of divorce left my lips, yet his words still tore at my heart with unbearable pain. At least I never regretted staying and marrying him back then. But today he said he regretted it. You regret it, but I've always been this kind of person. I took a deep breath and responded with a choked voice. Let's just sign the agreement now. I picked up the paper and pen nearby to draft the divorce agreement, but he tore up each one I wrote. In the end, he cried and kept apologizing, repeatedly insisting we shouldn't divorce. Suddenly, a sharp ringtone from the phone broke the silence. Lu Chuan, who was still tearing paper, glanced at the screen and hesitated. I caught a glimpse of Bai Lulu's name on the display and silently counted down in my heart. 10, 9, 8, 7, Xiao Mu. I need to take this call, it's urgent from the company. I watched him walk into the bathroom, only to see him rush out a minute later to grab the car keys. Bai Lulu's father was in a car accident. She can't get a taxi, so I'm going to drive her. Wait for me at home. Before I could respond, he disappeared through the door. I watched his retreating figure. Lu Chuan. This was the 100th time. Chapter 3. After Lu Chuan left, I packed my luggage and wrote the divorce agreement word by word. Looking at the handwriting identical to Lu Chuan's, tears still streamed down uncontrollably. When we were young, he disliked my poor handwriting and would hold my hand to teach me stroke by stroke. After my sister passed away, he was afraid I'd be lonely, so he put all his work aside and traveled with me. And when the Lu family questioned whether I should marry him, he firmly stood in front of me. Because of this, I once believed that what he felt for me was love, and I was willing to fall into it. But I never thought that 5 years of companionship couldn't compare to a junior assistant who had only been with the company for 3 months. After placing the divorce agreement on the table, I dragged my luggage and tried to leave. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't open the front door. Just as I was about to call the police, Lu Chuan's message arrived right on time. Xiao Mu, I've locked the door remotely with my phone. Don't leave home, he's trying to imprison me. I called Lu Chuan over a dozen times in a row, but he didn't answer a single one. It wasn't until evening that the sound of unlocking finally came. But Lu Chuan didn't return alone. Behind him was Bai Lulu, dragging a suitcase. Meeting my gaze, Lu Chuan showed no trace of guilt on his face. Lulu's father is in a very bad condition and needs to go to the hospital at any time, so I let her stay here temporarily for a few days. This way, if there's any emergency, we can send her over quickly. Bai Lulu also ingratiatingly took out a takeout meal from behind her. Sister Miu Miu, you must be hungry. This is the dinner we specially bought for you. Whether you agree or not, have dinner first. I stared at the leftover pizza in the bag and the provocation in Bai Lulu's eyes. Since I'm leaving anyway, why should I keep tolerating her? I suddenly stood up and pushed Bai Lulu away. Get lost. Caught off guard, Bai Lulu fell to the ground, tears instantly streaming down her face. Looking utterly weak and easy to bully, Qin Mu, Lu Chuan heartbrokenly helped Bai Lulu up, looking at her scraped knees, and roared at me. Are you out of your mind? Apologize to Lulu now. Stop dreaming. Why should I apologize to someone who's coveting another woman's husband? Lu Chuan was stunned by my retort. Beside him, Bai Lulu suddenly picked up her suitcase and started heading out. President Lu, please don't argue anymore. Thank you for all your care. I'll leave right away and resign tomorrow. Don't let me ruin the relationship between you two. Sister Miu Miu, President Lu truly loves you. Please don't make him sad anymore. Okay. Her shoulders were shaking as she walked, clearly crying. Lu Chuan's eyes instantly turned bloodshot, the fury in them impossible to suppress. He grabbed my collar with one hand, dragged me into the storage room, and slammed the door shut with a bang. Qin Mu, I've been too good to you. You stay here and think about what you've done. Don't even think about coming out until you apologize. The room was so small and cluttered with junk that I could only hug my knees tightly to myself. The darkness let fear spread through my heart. I desperately pounded on the door, crying and begging Lu Chuan to open it. But the only response I got was the sound of him comforting Bai Lulu, followed by a muffled groan of restraint. Don't mess around, she'll find out later, Mr. Lu. So what if she knows? I have nothing to repay you with except this. I know you like it too. Hey, don't touch there. I clenched my fists so tightly that my nails dug into my palms. Lu Chuan, didn't you say you and Bai Lulu were completely innocent? This is your so-called innocence. I masochistically listened to their movements until it was over, my palms covered in blood. In the middle of the night, the sound of a door startled me awake. I looked at Bai Lulu, who was wearing my pajamas and slippers, and sneered, so eager that you couldn't even wait for me to get divorced. A flash of embarrassment crossed her face, but she quickly raised her head high again. Sister Miu Miu, what are you talking about? I just forgot to bring my pajamas. President Lu told me to wear these. I sneered, mimicking the commotion they made in the living room. Didn't expect you to be so fond of offering yourself. Mutual consent. Why wouldn't I like it? She suddenly lowered her voice, a venomous glint flashing in her eyes, yet feigned fear as she stepped back. Miss Mu, please let me go. As she finished speaking, she suddenly let out a scream and collapsed heavily to the ground. By the time Lu Chuan rushed in, he only managed to grab her wrist. Bai Lulu immediately covered her bleeding head and began to sob. Mr. Lu, I was just worried that Sister Miu Miu might be scared alone. Why did she push me? Did I do something wrong again? I didn't push her. My throat tightened as I instinctively tried to explain. Lu Chuan's eyes blazed with anger as he suddenly grabbed my neck and pinned me against the wall. Do you think I'd believe that? Could she have gotten such a serious injury from falling herself? When did you learn to use your hands? His strength was astonishing. I could barely breathe, only managing to squeeze out a few words. I really didn't. Enough. I don't want to hear your excuses. He laughed in extreme anger, throwing me violently to the ground. You wanted to leave, didn't you? Get out now. The Lu family doesn't welcome you. I staggered to my feet, looking at him in disbelief. It was already late at night, yet he was actually driving me away. I remember in the past, even if I came back a little late at night, he would worry and search everywhere for me. But now, he completely forgets how dangerous it is for a woman to be out late at night. My eyes suddenly feel sore. Now, no matter what Bai Lulu says, he believes unconditionally, and in his eyes, I was nothing but a complete villain. I closed my eyes, smiled bitterly, and without even taking the suitcase, I turned my back and walked away from the home we had shared for 5 years. Only when my feet were blistered and bleeding did I finally reach the only house left by my parents. Early the next morning, the ringing of my phone woke me up, and I saw the familiar number on the screen. I could no longer hold back my tears. Come pick me up. I admit defeat. Chapter 4. But as soon as I spoke, the door was kicked open, and Lu Chuan saw the phone still in my hand. After a moment of stunned silence, he angrily slapped me. Qin Mu, it was indeed you, this venomous woman, who ordered someone to kill Lulu's father. Before I could speak, Lu Chuan grabbed me by the hair and forcibly shoved me into the car, taking me to the hospital. Outside the hospital room, Apart from Bai Lulu with her red, swollen eyes, there was also a bound man. As soon as he saw me, the man frantically pointed at me and said, "It was her. She made me do it. She said she couldn't bear to see her family suffer in the hospital bed, so she asked me to take action. I was deceived by her too. I'll return all the money to you. Please don't send me to the police station." As soon as the man finished speaking, Bai Lulu immediately knelt before me and kowtowed. "Sister Miu Miu, I know you don't like me and think I ruined your relationship with President Lu, but whatever you have against me, why did you pull out my father's oxygen tube? He's my only family left." Hearing this, Lu Chuan slapped me again. He carefully helped Bai Lulu up and angrily rebuked, "Qin Mu, I was worried that you were in danger yesterday and thought about going to see you, but I didn't expect you to be so vicious. Just because I let Lulu stay at home, you want to kill her father. This time I will never easily forgive you." He motioned for the bodyguard to bring a large, sealed transparent box and forcibly shoved me inside. In less than 2 minutes, I was curled up in the box, gasping for breath. Lu Chuan looked at me coldly. "You can't handle this. Do you know how painful it is for someone to lose their father?" I kept pounding on the box, shouting at him, "Lu Chuan, I had no idea Bai Lulu's father was in this hospital, and I don't even know this man. You promised to always believe me. Have you forgotten all that?" A flicker of hesitation crossed Lu Chuan's face, and the determination in his eyes wavered. Bai Lulu gave the man a meaningful glance, and he immediately spoke up again. "How can you say you don't know me? Don't you have a red mole on the inside of your chest, even without the lights on?" I saw it clearly. Lu Chuan's face suddenly changed, and he punched the box while roaring at me. "Qin Mu, what do you mean? You'd even go so far as to use your body to bribe someone like this?" Before I could respond, Bai Lulu kept patting Lu Chuan's back to calm him down. Looking at me, her expression was a mix of grievance and fear. "Sister Miu Miu, how much do you hate me? You'd even stoop to associating with such a person. Are you worthy of President Lu?" After saying this, she took Lu Chuan's hand and whispered softly, "Forget it, President Lu. Let Sister Miu Miu go. If something really goes wrong, people as insignificant as us can just die. How can we compare to Sister Miu Miu?" Bai Lulu's words only fueled the anger in Lu Chuan's eyes. He cursed angrily, then ordered the people behind him, "Remove all the air, now." The bodyguard sensed his fury and dared not delay. Immediately, all the air was sucked out. In an instant, a suffocating sensation swept through my entire body. Due to lack of oxygen, my whole body turned purple and trembled uncontrollably. In the haze of confusion, my nails left bloody scratches on the box. With a helpless wail, I collapsed inside. Motionless, seeing my condition, Lu Chuan was utterly panicked. Grabbing the person beside me, I screamed like a madman, "Hurry and open the box. Didn't we ask the seller and they said nothing would happen? How could this be?" The bodyguard frantically searched for the key on his person, and Bai Lulu joined in the search. The moment I turned away, I caught a glimpse of a familiar malice on Bai Lulu's face. Sure enough, she secretly picked up the key that had fallen to the side and then stuffed it into a crack in the wall. The bodyguard knelt down before Lu Chuan with a thud. "Mr. Lu, the key is missing." Lu Chuan's face instantly turned pale, and he staggered, grabbing the bodyguard's collar and questioning him. "What's going on? How could the key be missing? Hurry up and break the box open for me." At this moment, it seemed as if I could see my parents who had passed away many years ago. "Mr. Lu, don't be too anxious. Sister Miu Miu is fine. You said that if we don't punish her severely this time, who knows what she might do next. Besides, didn't the doctor say half an hour would be fine? It hasn't been that long yet. The only family I have left in this world is gone." Upon hearing this, Lu Chuan stopped the bodyguard who was about to violently break open the box. He turned around and looked at me coldly. "Qin Mu, stop pretending. Lulu promised me that as long as you held on for half an hour, she wouldn't call the police. You're my wife, and I don't want to watch you go to jail either." With the last of my strength, I shouted at Lu Chuan, "Lu Chuan, how can you face my sister? What did you promise her back then? She won't let you off." Bai Lulu watched my struggle with a faint, unnoticed sneer, yet her voice remained soft and fragile. "Sister Miu Miu, you must be delirious. your sister died 5 years ago. There's no one left in the Qin family except you. Stop shouting and save your strength until the punishment is over." Lu Chuan's fingers unconsciously fidgeted, his gaze meeting mine again with a trace of disappointment. "Qin Mu, I'll let you out in 20 minutes. Don't bring up Qin Ran again. Do you want her to find no peace even in death?" The moment Lu Chuan finished speaking, the hospital room door was kicked open from outside. A cold voice rang out. "Who said the Qin family has no one left?" The moment the sunglasses were taken off, Lu Chuan froze in place. "Qin Ran, you're not dead." Chapter 5. The woman across didn't even glance at Lu Chuan, instead directing others to effortlessly break open the box that had trapped me. "Qin Xiaomu, you really are a fool to let someone like that bully you like this." Watching her scold me as if no one else was around, I suddenly laughed. Even after 5 years apart, she's still the sister who loves me. My sister Qin Ran has always been passionate about research, and marriage was never in her sights. So when her parents passed away and the Lu family came to demand the fulfillment of the marriage contract, she decisively chose to fake her death and leave to pursue her beloved scientific research. Originally, she intended to take me with her, but since I had liked Lu Chuan since childhood, I refused her offer. Although she agreed to let me stay, she made a bet with me. If Lu Chuan still didn't like me after 5 years, she would forcibly come to take me away. I thought I would never see her again in this lifetime, but I never expected that 5 years of devotion would still be no match for someone who had only appeared for 3 short months. "Alright, I'm back now. I'll take care of everything for you. Go home first." My sister's words interrupted my thoughts. She was about to order someone to send me away, but Lu Chuan, who had reacted, stopped her. He stared intently at that familiar face and spoke again. "Qin Ran, is it really you?" By Lulu, sensing the situation was turning unfavorable, immediately stepped forward. "President Lu, you can't let them leave. Don't be fooled by Qin Mu. How could she possibly be Qin Ran? Qin Ran has been dead for a long time. She must be an actress hired by Qin Mu." "Good guess, but unfortunately, you're wrong. I'm the real deal. I am indeed Qin Ran." "Lu Chuan, your mind is as foolish as ever. I remember when you," as his sister revealed more details, Lu Chuan's expression grew increasingly grim. All his embarrassing secrets were exposed by his sister without any hesitation. At that moment, he finally confirmed that this was Qin Ran. I left the hospital amidst Lu Chuan's helplessness and by Lulu's resentment. Meanwhile, in the ward on the other side, my sister Qin Ran unhurriedly pulled over a chair and sat down. She said nonchalantly, "Now it's time to settle our accounts." Just this one sentence was enough to throw Lu Chuan into a panic. To him, Qin Ran wasn't just his former fiancée. She was an absolute troublemaker. There wasn't a single person in their circle who hadn't been on the receiving end of her lessons as a child. That's why Lu Chuan had agreed without hesitation when the engagement was switched to me. But Bai Lulu knew none of this. She once again took hold of Lu Chuan's hand, sobbing. "President Lu, you promised to avenge my father. With Qin Mu gone, how can I face him with any dignity?" Before Lu Chuan could respond, Qin Ran spoke up first. "Enough noise. Did you even count how many words she just said? 28. Then let's begin." As soon as Qin Ran finished speaking, the person beside her stepped forward and began slapping Bai Lulu. In the blink of an eye, Bai Lulu's face became red and swollen. She could only open her eyes wide and turn to Lu Chuan for help again. "President Lu, save me. Are you going to stand by and watch them beat me to death? My father's body isn't even cold yet." Hearing this, Lu Chuan's expression finally changed. He mustered his courage to stand in front of Bai Lulu, frowning at Qin Ran and said, "Qin Jie, let her go. None of this has anything to do with her. I was the one who agreed to punish Xiao Mu this way. Didn't you always hate those who abuse their power since childhood? You don't know that after you left, Qin Mu completely changed. She's not kind at all now. Just because she misunderstood my relationship with Assistant Bai, she heartlessly caused the death of her father, at most. This just makes her experience a bit of suffocation. It's just uncomfortable. That's all. After all, Assistant Bai is the most innocent one in this." Qin Ran was so infuriated by his words that she laughed bitterly. She walked straight up to Lu Chuan and slapped him hard across the face. "I was wrong. I thought even if you didn't love Xiao Mu, the bond you shared growing up together would be enough for you to treat her kindly. But I never expected you to stoop so low as to slander such a woman and even attempt to kill her. The Lu family must be cursed for 8 lifetimes to have a descendant like you. Hearing Qin Ran's disparaging remarks, Lu Chuan's temper flared up. Elder sister Qin, there's no need for you to still shield Qin Mu. Seeing his stubborn and unyielding attitude, Qin Ran signaled someone behind her to hand Lu Chuan a file folder. Idiot, open your damn eyes and see what kind of woman she really is. Lu Chuan hesitated before taking it. The moment he opened the bag, his eyes widened in shock. Chapter 6. Inside the bag were countless photos of Bai Lulu and that man, in all sorts of poses and scenarios. Some of them were even taken in his own car. Lu Chuan's eyes instantly turned blood red. Where did all these photos come from? How could this be? Clearly, it was Qin Mu who was involved with him. How did it turn into her here? Lu Chuan muttered in disbelief, still unaware of the situation. Bai Lulu hurried forward. President Lu, you shouldn't be too upset. This is Sister Miu Miu's choice. Maybe she just likes this type. But her presumptuous attempt to comfort him not only failed but also caused Lu Chuan to grab her by the throat. What are you talking about? The person in this photo is you. Bai Lulu only then noticed that the female protagonist in the scattered photos on the ground was all herself. Panic instantly flashed across her face as she tightly grabbed Lu Chuan's hands, struggling desperately. President Lu, don't be fooled. These are all fake. She photoshopped these fake pictures deliberately for Qin Mu, just to get back at me. Besides, it was my own father who died. What daughter would kill her own father? Upon hearing Bai Lulu's explanation, Lu Chuan's grip involuntarily loosened slightly. Seizing the opportunity, Bai Lulu broke free from his restraint and collapsed to the ground, gasping for breath. Qin Ran seemed to have anticipated everything. She unlocked her phone and opened a video. The real murderer is here. The people in the video were unmistakably Bai Lulu and that man, sneaking into the hospital room and leaving shortly after. But just a few minutes later, the sound of medical equipment alarms came from the room. Seeing the truth exposed, the man fell to his knees with a thud. It was all Bai Lulu who made me do it. I didn't want to either. Everything was planned by her. She was the one who removed the oxygen mask herself. And she was the one who told me about the mole on Qin Mu's chest. She wanted to drive Qin Mu to death to become Mrs. Lu. Bai Lulu quickly got up and covered his mouth, her eyes venomous. Shut up. Don't you want the child in my belly anymore? But the other party bit her hand hard, causing her to cry out in pain. By the way, there's also the child in her belly. She said that after this incident, she would claim you as the father. Don't be fooled by her. This woman is more terrifying than a viper. With every word the man spoke, Lu Chuan's face grew paler, until finally, he collapsed to the ground, murmuring, "So Xiaomu is completely innocent. It was all Bai Lulu's scheme. What have I done?" Recalling everything he had done to me, he was so consumed by guilt that he began frantically slapping himself. Suddenly, his movements froze, and he stood up abruptly. "I need to find Xiaomu. I must explain to her. It was all Bai Lulu who deceived me." Unfortunately, he hadn't taken more than a few steps before being stopped by Qin Ran's people. "I won't let you disturb Xiaomu again, Lu Chuan. It's all too late now." With that, she threw a divorce agreement in front of Lu Chuan and said coldly, "Sign it." "I won't. I will never divorce Xiaomu." Lu Chuan stared at the divorce papers, staggering back a few steps, but was grabbed by Qin Ran's people, who forced her to sign her own name. Watching the final stroke completed, Lu Chuan finally gave up struggling and fainted. "After my sister returned home, I held her and cried bitterly for a long time, as if to vent all the separation of the past 5 years. My sister held me without saying a word, only handing me a divorce agreement. I stared at the distorted characters of Lu Chuan on the divorce agreement, and my tears finally stopped. Just like that, it was over between Lu Chuan and me." Chapter 7. Meanwhile, on the other side, Lu Chuan woke up and tried to roll over to leave as soon as he opened his eyes. But old Master Lu struck him with his cane before he could. "Dad, Qin Ran isn't dead. She's back. She forced me to sign the divorce papers. Help me. I can't lose Xiaomu." Old Master Lu looked at his still frenzied state and raised his cane to strike him hard again. He didn't stop until the man could no longer get up. "Dad, why won't you help me? I'm your son." Amid Lu Chuan's wails, Old Master Lu clutched his chest, gasping for breath as he slumped onto the bedside. "You unfilial son. If I help you, the Lu family will be ruined. Do you want to see our family's legacy destroyed by your own hands, until Qin Ran and Qin Mu leave with their sister? You're not going anywhere. Stay right here." Lu Chuan, confined at home, lay in bed in agony. He tried to find any traces of Qin Mu in this house but discovered nothing. He remembered how Qin Mu used to wait for him at the door with a warm smile every time he returned from work. She would hand him a cup of sobering tea and listen to him talk about the things he encountered at the company. Back then, they even discussed how many children they would have in the future. He didn't know why he ended up with Bai Lulu when clearly, Qin Mu was the one in his heart. Perhaps it was her coquettishly soft calls of President Lu and the dazed look in her eyes when she saw him that reminded him of the freshness he once felt with Qin Mu. He began to starve himself, attempting to force the Lu family to let him go by such means. Meanwhile, after visiting some old friends and relatives, my sister and I decided to relocate our parents' graves before leaving. Perhaps in this lifetime, we two sisters will never set foot in this place again. But just as we were on our way back, a black car blocked our path. No matter how much the driver honked, the other car simply wouldn't move. After a long while, a figure I knew all too well stepped out of the car. "It's Lu Chuan. What is he doing here?" The car window was knocked, and outside was Lu Chuan's anxious face. Only then did I get a chance to take a good look at him, after just a week apart. He had become frighteningly thin, his face covered in wounds. If not for knowing him well, who could recognize this as the most outstanding future successor of the Lu family? But all of this has nothing to do with me anymore. My sister coldly ordered the driver to keep going, but just as the car started moving, Lu Chuan quickly blocked its path. His stance made it clear he wouldn't budge unless I got out of the car. The time for reburial had been carefully chosen. I couldn't let Lu Chuan ruin our family's hard-won reunion. Helplessly, I soothed my sister's irritable mood and opened the car door. "Xiao Mu, I finally get to see you. Stay with the Lu family. Please don't go." I thought Lu Chuan had something to say to me, but I never expected he would try to persuade me to stay. How ridiculous. What makes him think I would go back to him after everything that's happened? Or does Qin Mu seem so cheap to him that he can summon and dismiss me at will? Seeing my prolonged silence, Lu Chuan grew somewhat anxious. He tried to step forward and grab my hand, but I dodged his touch. "Xiao Mu, can't you forgive me yet?" His expression was sorrowful, as if my refusal to forgive him would be unforgivable, but I didn't want to engage in a back and forth with him. So I went straight to the point. "Mr. Lu, if I recall correctly, we're already divorced. Let's part on good terms and maintain some dignity for both our sakes." "No, I didn't want to divorce you. It was your sister who forced my hand to write that." I glanced at my sister in the car, never imagining this was how she obtained the divorce agreement between Lu Chuan and me. But so what? The divorce was what I wanted. How it happened doesn't matter. After a long pause, under Lu Chuan's hopeful gaze, I let out a mocking laugh. "So what, Lu Chuan? It's over once it's over. You shouldn't be looking for me now. Bai Lulu should be waiting for you." Hearing me mention Bai Lulu, a trace of resentment flashed in his eyes. "Don't mention Bai Lulu to me. She's just a venomous woman. I've already sent her to the police station, and I'll never be with her in this lifetime." What my sister didn't tell me, Lu Chuan told me. Hearing the news that Bai Lulu personally killed her own father, I could only feel a sigh of regret. Was all this really worth it just to marry Lu Chuan? Seeing my expression soften, Lu Chuan began to plead with me again. "Xiao Mu, it was all that woman Bai Lulu who deceived me. The Lu family has only ever recognized you as the mistress. Can you forgive me now?" Chapter 8. The car horn interrupted my thoughts. I looked at the man humbly pleading for love before me and said carelessly, I forgive you. Can you disappear from my world now?" Lu Chuan, step aside. His face first lit up with joy, then quickly fell into despair. "Xiao Mu, how could you be so cruel? You just gave up on our 5-year relationship like that." He actually had the nerve to call me cruel. My originally calm heart couldn't take it anymore. Lu Chuan, you're actually saying I'm cruel. If I were cruel, I wouldn't have abandoned my family to stay by your side. If I were cruel, I wouldn't have watched you choose Bai Lulu and abandon me all 99 times. Do you know how much it hurts me every time you unconditionally believe Bai Lulu and blame me? With every word I spoke, the despair on Lu Chuan's face deepened. I'm sorry, it's all my fault. Hit me if you want, as long as it makes you feel better. Even if you beat me to death, I won't fight back. He tried to grab my hand to slap himself, but I forcefully pulled away. Don't touch me, you disgust me, Lu Chuan. I've told you I have misophobia. I don't want clothes others have worn, and I certainly don't want a man others have used. With that, I pulled a piece of paper from my bag and wiped the spot he had just touched with disgust. At this moment, he finally understood that no matter what, I would never come back. Collapsed on the ground, wailing uncontrollably. The moment I got back into the car, I felt like I could breathe freely again. I know I've truly let go of Lu Chuan. Did you resolve it? If you still want to stay here, I can leave by myself. Looking into my sister's concerned eyes, I tightly grasped her hand. Sis, what are you thinking about? Men aren't as great as sisters. Your little sister is sticking with you for life. Don't even think about abandoning me. After that, I never saw Lu Chuan again. A year later, I received a message from the Lu family. Lu Chuan is dead, by suicide. Bai Lulu was spared the death penalty because she was pregnant, but Lu Chuan hated her for destroying our relationship. On the day of the verdict, he stabbed her more than a dozen times with a knife. In the end, he locked himself in that same vacuum-sealed box and drained all the air out. I didn't respond, just served the food from the pot. Sis, dinner's almost ready. Come out and eat. You've been working non-stop for over 10 hours. Don't make me come shut that computer down. This research-obsessed sister of mine is seriously too much to handle. The end. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, so feel free to share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more great stories. We'll see you in the next video.